What is work visa? To Canada, of course, because we practice Canadian immigration. Work visa can be divided in three major categories. One is kind of obvious, that's what people know for. If you have an employer who provide LMIA, which is labor market impact assessment, which is permission for the company to hire a foreign worker. Once you have that, you can apply for work visa. Another type is LMIA exempt, that's how we call it, for people who uh, stay outside of category of LMIA, and usually they are required for certain specialized knowledge or specialized unique abilities, and maybe the need for the employer to have them faster and outside of regular recruitment process. And the last one is a business visa, business work visa. And unfortunately, the vocabulary of Canadian immigration is less inventive or less descriptive as, for example, US immigration, because they have certain type of visa for certain categories of people. For us, it's kind of difficult sometimes to explain that work visa for business person is different from work visa for LMIA-based work permit or work visa. So category one, if you need LMIA, and that's where the majority of fraud happen in Canadian immigration, because people approach us, approach every immigration office and asking the wrong question. Can you sell LMIA? Can you provide a job if I pay you money? They don't even want to work here, and they don't even able to work and perform the duties that prescribe in a job offer, but that's what they think. We buy LMIA, we buy the job, and we get to Canada and got to work for a certain time and maybe not work at all. So those are very, very shady operations, and they're going around for years and years. So basically, that's wrong, because definitely people going into that path, they kind of cut themselves short very fast, especially if the government found that they did something fake, and they basically found to misrepresent. What to do and how to approach this, what kind of players involved, and what involved in first category of LMIA based work permit. Why I use work permit opposed to work visa? Did you mention that? Work visa is the document that's required to cross the border. And that's why people, once they have their employer secured their permission to hire them, LMIA, they get it, and then they able to apply for work visa to get into the country. And work visa, by the way, required for those who are required to have visa, because we have many countries which have visa exempt. And again, the process is slightly different for those categories of people. Visa required at all or not at all? Let's say you have work visa. Can you work in Canada? No, you have to actually come to Canada, cross the border, and at the port of entry, you will get your permission to work, called work permit. And that document is different from work visa, because that document clearly identifies the time that you're able to stay in Canada and work, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 1 year, or maybe shorter or longer. Times people ask a very legitimate question: if my work visa expiring in 3 months and I have work permit for 3 years, can I stay in Canada? Yes, you can, because the work visa only required to cross the border. As I said, LMIA exempt is a category of visas where you have to actually demonstrate something very unique and special. That's why they call it exemption from LMIA. And your employer usually applies for those as well. You can be in Canada, you can be outside Canada. That's another story for another video. But for now, we definitely can project a very narrow niche of those applicants, and many people fall into that category. Let's say people from sport and culture, if they come in here, that category is known to you. So sometimes people come in as executive, sometimes they come in as performance, sometimes they come in under very unique set of circumstances. But again, LMIA is not required for that category. And the last but not least is category of business work permits. Also called work permit, but definitely very unique, because entrepreneur would like to come to Canada, initiate business transactions, open company, meet with legal and production team, whatnot. So basically, that category is different, and requirements are very different. So don't be confused when somebody talking to you and saying, well, we sell or we provide service in work visas. Always ask which category they offer service in. We at Anyvisa specialize in any kind of work visas and work permits, anything. We work with companies, and if companies require workers or executives or special unique professionals to be there in Canada, we work with them, and we work with professionals who have an employer, have connection in Canada, pass interview, got job offer, and we can facilitate everything in between to be here legally, to be here on a right status, and maintain that status, and most importantly, to become so that status becomes the part of your permanent residency visa. So, see, that's also immigrant permanent residency visa. So don't be confused in terminology. That's why you need to order consultation if you're really, really interested in these services of any kind related to work in Canada. And definitely like, subscribe, share, and save others from making mistakes. And you stay safe.